Well, we've polished up our game quite a bit, but we've still got some glaring polish issues. The very first one being this giant score up here at the top, being all blurry and the text looking terrible. So we're going to be adding a new default, well, a custom font to this. So you should already have this in your resources. I had to bring it in the last before the last video, but this will already be imported into your resources when you start this section, because I'll add it to the resources. The pixelrpg.tff, and this is a TFF font type, and Godot can use this to make, it's basically a vector type font, so it can be scaled quite easily. We're going to create a new resource, and we'll do a font. And there's two types of font. There's bitmap font, which doesn't really work, isn't very easy to use. You can do these. They don't obviously scale as well as a vector font would, but you can get a little more custom with them. But there's a lot more work involved to making them. So we're going to be doing a dynamic font because it will work great for this. We'll call this RPG, well, pixel font. That should be good. And once we've created that resource, we can double click on it over here and click on our inspector, and we should see the information about this font. So the very first thing we need is a font data, and that's where our .tff file comes in. We can drag this over and drop it right here. And we can start testing this font by clicking on our score label, coming to custom fonts, click font, the little checkbox there, and then drag over our pixel font like this. There we go. And this doesn't look right. Right? This doesn't look good at all. Well, it's because we need to come back into our pixel font resource, so double click on it. It's because our size is incorrect. I actually don't remember what size it's supposed to be for this one. So I'm going to guess. Looks like it was 12. I just guessed till it worked. But now we've got, well, that actually looks too big still. That looks twice as big. No, that looks even bigger than twice as big, right? It must be 6. Aha. It was 6, I think. I think it's actually 6, and that looks correct to me. Let's make sure. And I don't like that it's clear up at the top, but that is the proper sizing, I think, for the pixels. So it was actually 6, the size. And so we'll drag this down to the snap size there. And then in our score label, we'll set our vertical alignment to center. So that should center it like that. And it won't be all the way up at the top like it was before. This looks a lot better. And now our font matches the rest of our game and doesn't look so out of place. Now that we have a default font, we can actually create a start menu. So we'll do that. We'll create a new scene. We'll make this let's do a custom node, just a base node again. Call it start menu. And so I'll be teaching you how to change between different scenes in Godot, and it's quite easy. For this start menu, we're going to create well, first, let's save it. Then let's create a color rect like we do before. Do full rect, make it black. So we've got our background, right? Okay. Let's make we'll make a start a start button here. So we'll create a new scene, a button scene, and put this kind of in the center of our room. In fact, yeah, we'll just guess for now. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So that's centered enough, right? We'll call this start button. Give it some text, start. And once again, we can set custom fonts. We'll drag in our own pixel font right here. And we can do a custom style too. You can see that this button is kind of blurry and not really designed for a pixel art game. So if we click on custom styles, we can set the hover and pressed and focused and normal. And all of these, we're just going to set a new style box empty. And basically, we can drag this to each of these, click on it and drag it. It's going to make our start button just look like, it's just going to look like, oops, we're not running that scene. Let's run the scene right here, not the game. It's just going to make it look like just the text here, but it'll still work like a button. So now that we've done that, we can add our star filled. Seems like it would make sense to add our particles. So let's make these particles a scene. So right click on them, do save branches, scene, star particles. Then if we come into our start menu, we can just add our star particles scene. We'll drag and drop it in here. There we go. It's in the same position and everything. Now we'll want to reset the default start, because right now when we start our game, it just starts us in our game, right here. So we want to set it so that it starts here in this room. So come to project settings, run, main scene, click this little icon here and choose start menu, close. Now every time we run our game, we're going to see this right here as our start screen. Problem with this is we can't actually go to our next scene yet. So let's do that. We're going to add a script to our start menu and get rid of all that. Then we're going to click on our start button, click on node, click on so we can get the signals. We'll do the pressed signal for our button, just like we did in the very first section of the course. We'll do create. Now we can do something when we click on this button. What are we going to do? We're going to call get tree dot. Let's see. Oh geez, I can't remember the name of the function. So we're going to, oh actually now I remember it now. Change scene, and it needs a path for the scene that we want to change to. We want to do, well, let's do that secret that I showed you. We can just find our world scene, world.tscn, drag and drop it right here. There we go. Now if we run the game, it starts on our start menu. If we click start, it changes to our game. Really simple. Just the very basics, right? We'll start with the basics and get a little bit fancier as we go. And that's going to be it for this lecture. So, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one.